Welcome back to the Side podcast. Before we jump into this episode, I want to share a concerning statistic and an observation that was made apparent to us over the last 18 months or so over at Tradie Web Guys, which is the digital agency that we run that specializes in trade businesses. 8 out of 10 businesses that came to us, actually 85% of the businesses that came to us, with no exaggeration, they did not have the right foundations laid when they came to us looking for marketing related services. So what does that actually mean? Well, essentially there were people coming to us wanting to spend money, but at a greater look, they had so many holes in their bucket that spending money on the campaigns they wanted to get up and running was a complete waste. It was just going straight to water. The point is, guys, if you guys are looking at really growing your business, you've got to make sure you have solid foundations laid. We have, over the last 12 months, essentially revamped the whole way that we approach the digital space for trade businesses. And it all starts with laying the right foundations. So what does that look like for you? Well, does your website look right? Do you have the right conversion factors built onto the website? Are you capturing all of your leads and all of your contacts? Are those contacts being fed into a lead management system, which can help you, first of all, capture, but then automate and nurture your contacts? You do not want to be in that situation where you're constantly churning and burning leads. So guys, please, if you're doing any sort of outreach, any sort of marketing, make sure you have these things dialed in. Now, as I say, we've redesigned the whole way that we service our customers, and the first thing that we look at is foundations. So if that sounds like something that you want to at least get a different perspective on, head across to tradiewebguys.com.au, fill in the contact form and have the conversation. It's not going to cost you anything, but it could save you and make you thousands. I look forward to chatting with you. Enjoy the podcast. In this podcast, you'll learn how to leverage your website as a conversion tool that does the selling for you, why you should be focusing on contact lifetime value as opposed to customer lifetime value, and how to put yourself in the driving seat when it comes to how and where to market your business. Hey there, listeners and viewers. Welcome back to the Sideshow podcast. Today, I want to talk to you guys about an observation that we at Tradie Web Guys have noticed over the years, and it's something that has become so prominent that we've essentially redesigned everything that we do at the agency to speak to this one specific thing as a foundational entry sort of product from a marketing perspective. Now, I'm going to put some things into perspective for you guys because I'm hoping that some of you can relate to this, but this is honestly 9.5 out of 10 businesses that we speak to have this exact problem. And it has a huge ripple effect because not only does it affect the business on a financial level, it also affects the business on I suppose, like a functional, operational level. And that can also be an extremely costly disadvantage to any business, that's trying to, I suppose, exist in a modern landscape. What I want to break down for you guys, and I know I suppose the term foundations is a little bit tongue in cheek when I'm speaking to you guys out there who are essentially, plumbers, builders, electricians, general contractors, tradies in general, right? Like, you understand the concept of foundations. In essence, they're there to make sure that whatever you build on is stable from the beginning, right? And the problem that we see from a marketing perspective is that the majority of businesses don't have the right foundations laid. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, instead of, I suppose, the paradigm shift in thinking is, instead of being overly focused on, generating new leads and all this kind of stuff, which, we all kind of get sucked into this vortex of thinking that's the right thing to do. But the paradigm shift around this is, well, if we can consider for a second your current traffic journey, like, what does that actually look like? Or do you even know what that looks like? Because most people don't, which is fine, because in truth, you guys are out there climbing ladders and, laying drainage. You're probably not focusing much on this sort of stuff. But from our point of view, we want to be able to help you guys understand the difference between, understanding what your traffic is, and therefore being able to use whatever existing traffic you've got in a way that can, essentially improve your conversion, right? When you look at a traffic journey, so people that are coming to your website, visitors that are coming to your website, what happens to them once they get there? So most people just think, well, I don't have any leads, or I'm not getting any inquiries. So the answer is we need to get more. Sometimes that is the case, but in a lot of cases, it comes down to some fundamental issues that are happening, that are non-obvious. So some of those things could be, well, okay, we're getting traffic to the website, which means something's working. But then when the people get there, they're not taking the right actions. And this is a conversation that I suppose becomes conversion optimization. And essentially, the goal of conversion optimization, and I'll give you an example. If you are currently getting, say, I don't know, 1,000 visitors to your website, and your website's converting at 2%, then if you can increase the website conversion to 4%, you're still getting 1,000 visitors, but you've got a 100% increase on your conversions. So it takes the perspective and it takes the focus so much off the volume, and then it puts it more on, okay, well, what's the quality, the quantity, the conversion of these leads that we're already currently seemingly getting, and how do we just leverage that? When you look at most of the businesses that we speak with, when you look at the assets they already have, like, for example, their website, there's things that are on that website that need to be improved in order for that traffic and those impressions and those visitors that are hitting that site to become more of a lead. When you consider the life cycle of a contact, it typically looks like someone who comes into your becomes aware of you. They then become a contact of some sort. Well, they're not really even really a contact until the point where they reach out to you. Your goal and your smarts behind this whole equation is, how do you move somebody from being essentially a cold contact right through the stages of your sales department to where they become what we like to consider a qualified lead, a marketing qualified lead, sales qualified lead, and then eventually, hopefully, a customer. So that basically means we need to have some sort of system in place which can help us understand at what stage of the sales cycle that individual is at. And at the very starting point of this whole conversation, it's, are we actually capturing these contact details? So when you look at your website, and when you look at, say, your phone number, or if you look at your website chatbot, or if you look at your web forms, or whatever it is, when somebody completes that, what actually happens? Like, what is the journey of that traffic source? Where do they go? In most cases, they might fill a form in, and perhaps you get an email sitting in your inbox to say, hey, contact Bob about ABC, or whatever it might be. Or there's an inquiry form, name, phone number, inquiry, whatever it is. But that typically is not good enough. So what you ideally want, and what you ideally should be having, and again, I just want to take the perspective off for a second, the volume of leads, and I want to really cast home this whole mindset around, it's not so much about how many, it's what you're doing with those leads, right? Because if you can improve these conversions, and if you can nurture these contacts better through some sort of sales cycle, whether it's automated or not, and we'll get to that in a minute, you're in a much better position. Because what we're talking about here at this point is really building an asset, building a database, building a marketing database. And the reason we do that is because we want to maximize the lifetime value of your contacts. And I say contacts because at that point, they're not yet a customer. So yes, customer lifetime value is one thing, but if you can also learn to maximize your contact lifetime value, then essentially what you're doing is you're improving the amount of customers you're going to be getting through leads that you already have. That is really important. You're improving the amount of customers that you're getting through the leads that you already have. Okay. So yes, immediately, I know your brains are ticking over here, and you're thinking, well, this is super interesting because we're spending all this money on this and that and whatever, and we seem to be getting leads, but they come in one end and they go straight out the other, and we just replace them with new leads, which is not the answer. Okay. In an ideal world, what you want to make sure that you have set up is some sort of system where somebody comes into your business, whether it's your through a web form or a chatbot or whatever, they enter into some sort of system which then enables you to manage them. And when I say manage them, most importantly, it needs to be like a centralized location which gives you and your team one place to see that contact record, their communications, their interests, their actions, their automations, their opportunities, or whatever quotes you've sent them or whatever. It all should be in the one place so that when you're talking with your team, or you don't even need to talk with your team, you can log in and see the contact record and you know straight away that this person is at this stage and this person has been spoken to by this person at this point in time and blah, 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 blah. So that is kind of CRM 101, right? But we're not talking today specifically about CRM because there's thousands of CRMs on the market. What I'm talking to you today about is the whole principle here of making sure you have your foundations established, because once you have them built, then it puts you in a position where you can make a much better decision looking forward on the direction that you want to take your marketing, whatever that looks like. So the reason that I'm bringing this up is because, this is something that we deal heavily with over at Tradie Web Guys in the agency. And we have a new program, which is essentially called Foundations, where, within a 3-month rollout, we look at developing the core foundational aspects of a trade business from a marketing perspective. And for the majority of cases, although we do customize these specifically to the business because every business is different to a degree, but I can tell you right now, at the crux and the foundations of this program, pretty much every business needs the following couple of things. First of all, the website's got to be built in a way which, first of all, I suppose, communicates and showcases their expertise as the go-to insert trade, plumber, builder, electrician, landscape gardener, whatever it might be, roofer in an area, okay? And the way that you do that is through having a professional built website that represents the caliber of that organization. If your website looks like it's, been built in the 1980s, then chances are, that's the kind of image that you're portraying to people when they want to be talking to a modern business. They want to be speaking to someone that looks the part, that's common sense for sure. But like, the point is, the website serves as a very valuable tool when you're talking about the conversions of a contact at any stage through to them becoming a client, and in truth beyond. That's the reason why we have, blogs, and we have project galleries and all these kind of things that we can apply to our websites, is so that you're constantly building trust and rapport and building your profile as the expert in a region. The website needs to have copywriting done correctly. And when I say correctly, I'm talking about, firstly, it's got to be created for the visitor, right? Like, it has to answer a question. If people are coming to you for information, your website is the tool that can give them that information. And if you're not doing that, then you need to think about how you can do that better, right? And second of all, if you do it right, then you are leveraging the power of search engines so that the content has a chance of showing up when people actually go looking for it. Now, this is at the sort of base entry level of what you might be familiar with as SEO. Yes, it's about how do you create content that shows up on the search engines, but it's important to understand as well that the content should first be there to address the user and answer questions, okay? So once the website's been established, it's been built the right way, and there's SEO principles applied to that site, what we'd like to do within that 3-month period is also get some SEO moving, because ideally, when we take a benchmark snapshot of what a website looks like when they come to us, in 3 months' time, if we've applied the right strategies to it, then we should be able to showcase some positive movement, which give us a better indication of whether or not there's good possibilities and good potential to continue that sort of marketing campaign beyond that 3 months. Again, it's all about putting the business owner back in control based on data. The other core thing that we do, so the website, the copywriting, very important. And then on top of that is we talk about things like, okay, well, how do we leverage things like opt-ins, and how do we maybe improve some of these conversions? Do we put call to actions and lead magnets on the website? Do we do that kind of, do we get people into some sort of nurture funnel, where maybe, they come in, they fill in a web form, and then over the course of the next couple of weeks, we send out 4 or 5 projects that we've done that might relate to something they're looking for, et cetera, et cetera. That might sound like a lot of work as well, by the way, guys. And the truth is, it can be a lot of work, but if you do it right, you set it up once, and then automations take care of the rest of it. So yes, it can be a lot of work initially, but the purpose of automations is you do the work up front, and then it will continually deliver a result consistently over time, right? So those sort of things are low hanging fruit. That's low opportunity. Sorry, high opportunity, low hanging fruit. The other thing you want to do is make sure that, whatever tools and tech stack that you're using is that they speak to each other. And that's not always easy to achieve. I'll be honest, like there's a lot of struggles with different softwares and integrating and that kind of stuff. But the point is, you want to try to avoid double entry. Now, the majority of you guys are using, and to your credit, I should add, amazing tools, job management softwares, and that kind of thing, which are essential to running your jobs. But what the majority of you guys probably are not doing well is you don't have a system in place when you look at managing the office side of communications, managing pipelines, emails, technology, automations, all that kind of stuff, right? So the next part of, I suppose, the foundation product is we set our clients up on the hub, which is our lead management system. You can check that out at tradiehub.net, and there'll be links to that within this podcast. But the reason that we do that is because every single contact every single opportunity and contact that comes through that website, we want the business to have complete transparency over who that is and what they look like. For example, if someone calls the phone number on the website, then we want to have a record of that show up immediately in the hub. If someone fills in a web form, we want to have a record of that show up immediately in the hub and perhaps have automated replies set up. If somebody sends if we miss a phone call that comes in, we want to have an automated text message that goes out to that person saying, sorry, we missed the call. We'll call you right back shortly. Something like to that scale anyway, right? I'm sort of scratching the surface here on what the potential of the hub can actually do for you guys. But foundationally, most businesses don't have these systems set up. And if they do, they have it set up in a way which involves so many different tools and so many different pieces of technologies that have all been stitched together. It just becomes a case of 15 different tools that are being used to a fraction of their ability instead of one tool which can simplify the entire tech stack and can be used much better with support. So these are the foundational things that I suppose I wanted to communicate out to you guys. These are things that we address within our foundation program. We've set it up as like a 12-week rollout because within that period, we can establish the right tools and we can also work towards generating the right results in certain areas, or at least seeing where the opportunities lie off the back of working within areas like SEO, or perhaps you run Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever it might be. But the point is, you've got to have these that framework built out so that the business can actually make an educated decision once it's completed. And they're under no obligation to do so at the end of the foundation program. But the point is, if they need to, the data's there. And if they want to, they can. And we've got some great case studies for this program. It's starting to, really, it's a real differentiator when you look at the traditional agency model of, well, we'll sell you ads, or we'll sell you, SEO, or we'll sell you websites. To be fair, stuff that we have done in the past as well. But now we've realized that it's much bigger than that, because if we need, as part of this program, to build out an automation email sequence, we now have the ability to do that. Or if we need to train somebody in the client's office on how to do it, then we can do that as well. If we need to create content, we can do it. There's all these amazing things that we can do with this, having these foundations built the right way, which just completely empower the business owner to take 100% control of all of the things they need when it comes to marketing their business beyond that 12-week period. So guys, I really, really encourage you to reach out to us. If you head across to tradiewebguys.com.au/grow, fill the form in and have a chat with us, because I can tell you right now, we've got so much amazing feedback on this program, and there's so many amazing new businesses that have come on board with it because they just need these foundations laid, and chances are you are in a very similar situation. And I can't wait to speak to you guys. So that's all from me. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I really encourage you guys to take advantage of that. Ciao. To get notified of upcoming videos, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. And please be sure to share this video with someone else.